time to get ready to go to work. I was working out, I went running, and one of these days I'm just gonna make a video to tell you guys the good running, a few good running techniques to help you. If you haven't yet, make sure that you're checking out the story of how I lost 145 pounds. I think it'll be very, very helpful. But now I want to just talk to you guys about something else. I wanted to do this because, as you guys know, I met my husband online, and if you haven't yet checked Marriage Over, our series Marriage Over, the first episode is our internet interracial romance. And we have a happy ending. We got married, and we've been married for over 21 years, and it's been, the regular ups and downs of every relationship. But I wanted to talk a little bit about how we need to be very wise, because I still hear a lot of horror stories of online relationships. And although I'm just sharing my story, I never want to be part of spreading information that may indicate that everything is rosy. When it comes to internet romance, guys, or any relationship for that matter, there are specific precautions we need to take. And I think with the internet, it has its advantages and it has its disadvantages. One of the advantages is that you can really get to know the person, and you can do a lot of research prior to meeting that person, prior to that person having physical proximity to you. But one of the disadvantages is that if we don't do that research, then that person can really, I'm saying hi to my sister who's watching me. She's going up in the car and she's wondering who is she talking to? She should know by now. But one of the disadvantages, again, is if you don't do your research, if you don't do your homework, then a person online can be whoever they want to be. They can be, whatever. A few years back, my mom started telling me about this. My mom lives in Panama, and she started telling me about this military guy who was courting her. And I went into his page, and it had only a couple of pages, a couple of pictures, and the pictures were of this guy in uniform. And I'm looking at the messages. I'm like, Mom, share the messages with me. And I'm looking at the messages, and I'm like, this guy is not writing like a guy that's in the military. And I started researching it, and I found out that this guy was indeed in the military, but it wasn't the same person that was writing to my mom. This guy lived in Ghana and was actually impersonating a military guy. He found his picture, created a Facebook page, and he was passing himself to be a military guy. And by now, that I hope that it's common knowledge that there's a lot of guys in Ghana and Nigeria that are doing this. But let's talk about more recent cases, more cases that are closer to home. We have the case of this lady that met this guy online, and after a couple of dates, she invited him to her home, and he killed her. And he was right here in the United States. And let me just tell you, you have to take precautions. You have to be smart. Whether you meet someone in the grocery store, whether you meet someone at church, doesn't really matter. You meet them online, you need to do your homework. The first time that I met my husband, I met him in a public place, and I only spent a few hours with him. I made him pay a plane ticket to come see me. I made him then travel to Panama, to my country of national origin, 3,000 miles away. Talk to my parents, my pastors, all of that before he ever saw me in person by ourselves. I went to his hometown in Madison on my own dime, met his family. I needed to make sure that he was who he said he was. Even prior to that, I ran a background check on him. I asked a few questions here and there. First, his name, then where he was from, then in a different email, date of birth. And then I had enough information to run a background check, and I ran a background check, and I always make a joke that because one day I was advising one of my spiritual daughters that was meeting someone online, how she needed to run a background check, and I said, and I ran one on John, and I was driving, he was driving, and I was sitting right next to him when I was having that, and he was like in shock. And I'm like, you thought that I didn't run a background check on you? Like, you know me, you know I'm an attorney by training, I'm a smart woman, and you think I was just gonna take your word for it? I mean, I love my husband and I trust him now, but we've been married 21 years. When you first meet someone, it really doesn't matter where you meet them. Do your homework. Run a background check. If they tell you that they work in a specific place, make sure that they work where they say they work. Do a research. Google. Google is a great machine now. It allows you to investigate. You Google names. Google under scam. Google under sexual predators. There's a national database of sexual predators. You can run a thorough background check just paying like $10. And is your life worth it? Absolutely it is. Is your security worth it? Absolutely it is. And write and make that person write back to you. That person write back to you. Talk. This is one of the things that I love about internet romance, is that you don't have any hormones rushing you into kisses and hugs and touching. There's distance. So there's a network of safety, and you can be focusing on picking this person's brain, getting to know what he's thinking, what he's made of, before you are ever in physical touch with that person. Finally, and I am going to be successful and keep my first video under 10 minutes. If someone is asking you for money, I don't care in what dire needs they are, run the other way. Listen, even if someone is really needy, what kind of person do they have to be that they cannot ask for financial help from someone that already knows them, and they have to ask someone that they just met online and they just met to give them money? Run the other way, particularly if you're a woman. Run the other way. Be self-sufficient and expect the same from the person that's seeking to become your partner. There will be tough times if you end up being a couple. There will be tough times where you guys will have to pick each other up, where you guys will have to support one another. One will be down, the other one will lift them up. That is perfectly normal in an established relationship. But if you are just starting to get to know one another and someone is asking you for money, I don't care how thirsty you are for love, run the other way. This person is most likely seeking to take advantage of you. And in the best case scenario, if they're not seeking to take advantage of you, they are already demonstrating to you that they are financially irresponsible and that they cannot take care of themselves. These are just a few tips that I think are very, very important in internet romance. Of course, when you meet that person the first time, make absolutely certain you do it in a public place, and make sure you don't give anybody your address. And you don't take anybody to your house, or don't go into any place where this person has immediate and exclusive access to you. Ladies and gentlemen, internet romance works if we do our homework. Do your homework. Don't get swept away, and do not make decisions based on your emotions. Use your mind. God gave us all minds. So let's be smart about who we entrust our lives and our hearts to. This is Pastor Jenny signing off with tips about safety, internet, dating. Have a good day. Bye, friends. I hope you found this video useful. I can't wait to hear your comments and your suggestions, and please let me know what you think, and if you have an experience that you want to share with me, please do so. And if you have any recommendations about future videos, I can't wait to hear. Take care. Bye.